TOS-1 and its modernized version TOS-1, a sunstroke, are perceived as instruments of heavy firepower, intended to suppress personnel and destroy fortified positions in complex urban and suburban environments. This rocket flamethrower system is characterized by a specific thermobaric munition, which, upon activation, creates a cloud of fuel-air mixture and then detonates, producing a powerful blast and thermal wave, as well as a prolonged high-temperature effect. The system's design provides for a mobile platform with a launch unit capable of rapidly changing positions and delivering salvo fire, which concentrates destructive energy into short intervals of time. Tactically, the complex is used to clear areas, neutralize enemy firing points, suppress personnel in shelters and ruined buildings, and to affect engineering structures such as trenches and strongpoints. Alongside the physical destruction, the thermobaric explosion exerts a strong psychological effect on personnel, lowering morale and combat effectiveness. In urban combat, the use of such systems raises particular concerns because of building density, the presence of civilians, and the risk of damage to critical infrastructure, issues frequently highlighted by experts and human rights organizations. From a practical point of view, systems of this type have been recorded in a number of local conflicts, where they were used to gain an operational advantage in spatially constrained areas. However, their appearance in the news more often provokes controversy and debate. Press reports and expert assessments note that the thermobaric effect combines a high-pressure impulse with a prolonged thermal factor, which increases the probability of fatalities in confined or partially enclosed spaces. When discussing technical characteristics, professionals stress the importance of precise employment and coordinated fire in order to minimize risks to civilians and to reduce irreversible infrastructure damage. In terms of deployment, the mobility of the complex has allowed it to be used within mechanized units to support assault operations and breakthrough defenses, providing suppressive fire in chosen directions. One notable point of debate is that the effects of such systems are often cited in discussions about proportionality and the permissibility of force in densely built urban areas where the lines between military and civilian objects blur. Some military analysts argue that, when used correctly and with appropriate harm minimization procedures, these systems can serve as tools that shorten combat duration and reduce casualties among attacking units. Other experts and human rights advocates insist on the strictest limitations and detailed justification for each use, emphasizing the high risk to civilians and the potential for serious long-term consequences for the urban environment. Moreover, public discourse around these complexes gives rise to many myths and misunderstandings, fueled by emotional reporting and fragmentary information. Therefore, expert evaluations and technical reviews play an important role in forming a balanced opinion. From a scientific perspective, studies of thermobaric effects reveal a complex array of damaging factors, including not only mechanical pressure, but also impacts on the respiratory tract, on interior objects, and on whole building structures. Legal debates touch on norms of international humanitarian law, military codes, and internal rules of engagement, and many legal experts emphasize the need for clarity in defining the boundaries of permissible use of such means. In everyday military practice, units equipped with such complexes develop administrative procedures, fire request protocols, and coordination instructions with other forces to minimize errors and undesirable consequences. The media sphere plays a significant role. Visual reports and video recordings of these weapons' effects amplify public emotional responses, compel politicians and military leaders to provide public explanations and usage reports. Historical examples of heavy firepower employment show that their presence on the battlefield often becomes a subject of diplomatic discussions, investigations, and, in some cases, an international calls for reviews and assessments. Technical modernizations and the development of new types of warheads and delivery methods inevitably raise questions about the reliability of systems intended to reduce collateral effects, the protection of civilian infrastructure, and ways to minimize risks to humanitarian corridors. From an operational planning standpoint, commanders take into account not only combat advantages but also political, legal, and humanitarian aspects when deciding to use such means in accordance with the objectives and constraints of a particular operation. In public and expert debate, there are frequent calls for transparency and independent investigations of every case of use of such weaponry, to prevent abuse and to confirm compliance with international obligations. BM-30 Smerch, a heavy multiple launch rocket system (mlrs), developed during the Soviet period and retained in service with the armed forces of the Russian Federation, remains one of the most recognizable and discussed heavy artillery systems, owing to its tactical and technical characteristics and destructive power. Originally created as a tool for delivering massed strikes over wide areas, the system combines long range with a high density of fire, making it effective for tasks such as suppressing concentrations of troops, destroying engineering works, and neutralizing rear area facilities. The vehicle chassis, launchers, and ammunition loads are designed to provide mobility, rapid displacement of firing positions, and maintenance of combat capability in the conditions of modern maneuver warfare. Each salvo produces a concentrated lethal cloud which, when heavy rocket projectiles are used, inflict mechanical, thermal, and fragmentation damage, increasing the likelihood of disabling equipment and personnel. Tactically, employment of the complex requires careful planning of fire missions, calculation of impact zones, and coordination with other service branches to achieve maximum effect while minimizing own losses. Depending on the type of munition selected, the system can perform different combat tasks, from suppressing firing positions to striking infrastructure targets, which makes it a versatile means of supporting both offensive and defensive operations. In service, forces pay considerable attention to logistics and sustainment, transporting ammunition loads, preparing firing sites, camouflaging positions, and timely maintenance of equipment directly affect the combat readiness of units equipped with such systems. Beyond technical considerations, there is a significant psychological factor. The imposing appearance of the launcher, the noise and the power of a salvo have a substantial impact on enemy morale and can accelerate the loss of combat effectiveness. However, the use of such heavy means also provokes intense debate among professionals and in the public sphere, especially when hostilities occur in densely built areas or near civilian objects. In such circumstances, the risk of collateral damage and civilian casualties rises, so military analysts stress the need to strictly observe the principles of distinction and proportionality and to develop procedures to minimize humanitarian consequences. Technical modernization of the complexes and variety of warhead types enhance operational flexibility. Developers aim to combine increased accuracy with reduced collateral damage by introducing guidance elements in more advanced warheads. From a practical viewpoint, crew training includes detailed drills for rapid deployment, firing with terrain and meteorological corrections, as well as procedures for the safe storage and transport of munitions. Commanders also plan to employ the complex in concert with aviation and electronic warfare assets, creating a synergistic effect in which one strike capability prepares the battlefield for another, thereby increasing overall operational effectiveness. Coordination with combined arms and specialized units requires a high level of synchronization to avoid friendly fire incidents and to optimize target allocation based on priority and threat. In the view of military experts, when applied correctly and in compliance with international rules, systems of this class can contribute to the faster achievement of operational objectives and shorten the duration of combat. But this does not remove the need for strict limitations and control over their use in densely populated areas. Studies of past conflicts show that the presence of heavy rocket systems on the battlefield consistently influences the course of operations, forcing adversaries to seek shelter, alter defensive schemes, and reallocate resources to protect key assets. Contemporary development efforts focus not only on extending range and improving accuracy, but also on increasing survivability and mobility of the complexes and integrating them with digital fire control systems, which enables faster processing of intelligence and real-time fire correction. Legal and ethical issues surrounding the use of such means remain subjects of debate. International human rights organizations and military legal experts call for transparency and independent investigations of incidents, especially when there is evidence of significant destruction and civilian casualties. In conclusion, BM-30 Smerch is a powerful instrument capable of exerting decisive influence on the battlefield through massed, long-range fire, but its effectiveness and the permissibility of its use depend on many factors, including tactical objectives, personnel training, measures to protect civilians, and compliance with international norms, since the power of such a weapon makes it at once a valuable element of military capability and a focus of serious public scrutiny. Scientific reviews emphasize the importance of studying effects on soil, water resources, and residential structures in order to develop measures for restoration and reduction of long-term damage. BM-27 Uragan is a heavy multiple-launch rocket system, MLRS, that has become one of the hallmarks of field-heavy artillery in the Soviet and post-Soviet military heritage. Its design is focused on delivering massed, destructive salvo strikes over wide areas and against deeply situated targets, making the system effective for suppressing troop concentrations, destroying fortifications, and neutralizing key infrastructure. Conceptually, the Uragan embodies the principle of rapid, concentrated delivery of destructive energy. The number of rockets fired and the system's salvo capability allow it to overwhelm an enemy's defenses in a short time and produce a dominant suppressive effect on a selected sector. Structurally, the system is built as a mobile complex, on a wheeled chassis, which provides a degree of operational mobility, enables quick deployment and rapid displacement after firing, an important survivability factor on the modern battlefield, where counter-battery and air responses demand high mobility. The Uragan ammunition load includes a variety of rocket types, each intended for specific tasks: high explosive and fragmentation, high explosive rounds for engaging personnel and light equipment, specialized warheads for destroying engineering structures and material resources, and munitions designed to create a dense, lethal cloud over a large area valuable in breaching defenses and striking concentrated enemy forces. Tactically, employment of the complex presupposes integration with reconnaissance data and fire correction assets, so that a salvo can be coordinated with combined arms units, the aviation and fire control systems to achieve maximum effect while minimizing own losses. In planning strikes, commanders take into account not only the desired destructive effect, but also potential humanitarian consequences and the need to observe distinction and proportionality, particularly in areas with populated settlements, where the risk of collateral damage to civilians and infrastructure is high. Historically, the Uragan has been used in various conflicts and training scenarios, demonstrating the ability to change the tactical situation through massed firepower. These examples illustrate both the operational utility of heavy rocket systems and the debates about limits and rules governing their use. Operation of the complex requires substantial organizational preparation, logistics and ammunition supply, maintenance of the launcher and chassis, camouflage and protection of positions from counter-battery fire, all factors that influence a unit's combat effectiveness and mission success. In the contemporary context, modernization issues merit attention, integrating digital fire control tools, the possibility of employing reconnaissance data from unmanned platforms, and improving the accuracy and controllability of munitions, all of which allow for fewer rounds to achieve the required effect and reduce collateral damage, while preserving the Uragan's principal role as a tool of massed fire. The psychological dimension of employing heavy mlrs is also significant. The spectacle of a salvo, the destruction, and the acoustic impact can demoralize enemy personnel, disrupt communications, and degrade defensive cohesion. At the same time, serious concerns are raised in public discourse and by human rights organizations about the use of such weapons in densely populated areas. The resulting destruction contributes to humanitarian crises, complicates aid delivery and reconstruction, and sparks international debate over the permissibility and control of highly destructive armaments. Special attention is paid to environmental and humanitarian consequences. Powerful explosions leave behind damaged buildings and infrastructure, create areas contaminated with debris and residues, affect soils and water sources, and lead to lengthy and costly recovery and rehabilitation processes. Professional discussion also considers countermeasures and protection against massed rocket salvos, deeper shelters, warning and evacuation systems, improved engineering protection for critical assets, and enhancements in counter-battery capabilities to detect and suppress enemy mlrs more quickly. In military training, crews, support personnel, and commanders undergo comprehensive drills in rapid deployment, camouflage, coordination with intelligence and artillery control, with emphasis on speed and safety. The skill of vacating a firing position promptly after a salvo reduces vulnerability to counterstrike. Recent technical improvements bring new capabilities. Integration with digital command and control and fire control systems, use of more advanced navigation and correction aids, and development of new types of munitions, all intended to increase effectiveness and precision while striving to reduce unintended losses. In conclusion, BM-27 Uragan remains a powerful and versatile means of firepower, capable of changing the battlefield situation through massed salvo strikes. However, its destructive potential demands a responsible and considered approach to employment, a balance of tactical necessity, strict compliance with legal norms, and measures to minimize humanitarian and environmental consequences, since the effects of using such systems significantly determine not only the course of an operation, but also the fate of civilian communities and territories over the long term. Tornado S and Tornado G represent the modern branch of upgrades to the Multiple Launch Rocket System, MLRS family, carrying traditional concepts of massed fire into a new era through digitalization and precision guidance. They are distinguished by a combination of enhanced navigation modules, integrated fire control systems, and modernized rocket types, which together extend range, improve accuracy, and increase operational flexibility for fire missions. Practically, this shift means moving from broadly massed, imprecise strikes toward the capability to deliver selective, high-precision strikes on priority targets while retaining the ability to produce wide-area effects when required. Navigation is based on combined solutions that include satellite positioning and inertial units, improving reliability under conditions of electronic countermeasures. As a result, the platforms obtain precise geopositional and navigational data used to calculate launch angles and correct rocket trajectories. The fire control system has become digital and networked. Intelligence from unmanned aerial vehicles, fixed sensors, and space-based assets is integrated into a single tactical picture, after which automated algorithms determine optimal firing parameters and assemble launch packages to maximize effect while limiting collateral damage. One of the most notable modernization directions is the introduction of guided and steerable rockets, equipped with terminal seekers or trajectory correction means, which greatly increases the probability of hitting designated targets and allows the weapon to be used nearer, friendly, or civilian objects with greater caution. The ammunition family has also been expanded. New variants include cluster and high explosive warheads for engaging personnel and light equipment, fragmentation-HE rounds for defeating light fortifications, specialized warheads for anti-armor tasks, and guided warheads for precision strikes on critical infrastructure. Technical solutions include improved launchers, modular designs, and lighter reloading mechanisms, which reduce preparation time for firing and enhance survivability through rapid maneuver after salvo. An important component is enhanced resilience to counter battery fire. Management and communication systems enable faster position changes, employment of decoys and camouflage, and integration with radar detection means creating a comprehensive protection layer and improving battlefield survivability. The development of reconnaissance capabilities and real-time connectivity permits fire correction as new data arrives, which reduces ammunition expenditure to achieve the desired effect and allows rapid reaction to a changing situation. Tactically, this gives rise to new approaches. Crews can plan short, highly targeted salvos that combine munition types to accomplish complex goals, neutralizing personnel, destroying engineering works, and degrading the opponent's communications and command system. From an operational standpoint, the upgrades place greater demands on logistics and maintenance. Digital systems require regular servicing, firmware updates, and trained technical staff, as well as specialized diagnostics and module replacement capabilities in field conditions. Training of crews and command personnel shifts toward combined skills. Operators must be proficient with mapping and navigation interfaces, capable of analyzing intelligence streams and making decisions that account for restrictions to avoid harming civilian objects. Legal and ethical aspects of using modernized systems remain subjects of public and international debate. Improved accuracy and the emergence of guided munitions provide arguments for more cautious employment, yet the inclusion of cluster and high explosive variants demands strict control and transparent reporting of use. In the export and industrial context, modernization has generated demand for components and upgrade services, as well as for training and support, creating supply chains in which digital systems and software represent an increasing share of cost and responsibility for outcomes. Technological trends point toward deeper integration with unmanned systems, improved effectors with guided warheads, and a reduction in the time from target acquisition to neutralization, consistent with the concept of high-tempo combat. At the same time, the combination of equipment and tactics remains crucial. Possessing a precision rocket does not negate the need for sound fire planning, coordination with other arms, and consideration of humanitarian consequences. The practical benefits of modernization include shorter task execution times, fewer salvos required to achieve effects, and more efficient ammunition use, which together reduce logistical burden and increase unit mobility. The future of these complexes lies in modular architectures. The ability to rapidly adapt to new munition types and closer integration with digital command centers, enabling greater striking power while seeking to lower collateral risks through rigorous respect for legal and ethical constraints.